Let's take a quick look at 10 principles of military leadership and how civilians and civilian organizations might benefit from applying these principles. An effective military leader does not micromanage. He or she trusts his subordinates to accomplish the mission. They do, however, provide direction, guidance, and priorities. This is codified in what we call the commander's intent. The leader doesn't dictate every detail or how a mission is accomplished. He simply gives the left and right limits, a few pieces of general guidance, and points them in the right direction. Since the leader understands the big picture, he might know something that the subordinates do not. He will address this while giving his guidance. For example, the follow-on force arrives at 0600 in the morning, so the bridge absolutely must be secured by 0530. Likewise, civilian leaders could benefit by not telling their subordinates exactly how to do something. Rather, they should give direction, guidance, and priorities, sit back and watch their subordinates succeed. The business model of the U.S. military is to have a team of experts led by a generalist. The leader is the generalist. His staff and his subordinates are the subject matter experts. The conductor might not know how to play every instrument, but for sure he knows how to integrate them together to create a symphonic masterpiece. Let's take a closer look at the members of the Military Staff Symphony Orchestra. Every military higher headquarters is composed of staff members. The SJA, or Staff Judge Advocate, is the unit's lawyer. The S1, or Staff Office 1, manages personnel or human resources. S2 is intelligence. S3 is operations, S4 is logistics, 5 is planning, 6 is communications, 7 is training, exercise, and readiness, or TREX, 8 is finance, and 9 is CMO, or civil military operations. A headquarters with a general officer as its commander will call their staff G1 through G9, as in G for general officer. A joint staff will call their sections J1 through J9, as in joint 1 through joint 9. Civilian organizations all could benefit from having a lawyer, a human resource officer, an intel or security manager, a CEO to manage day-to-day operations, a logistics team, network and IT professionals, and a chief financial officer. If your business is too small to have all of these sections, then consider outsourcing their staff expertise a few hours or days each year to ensure that your business is efficient and effective. The doctrinal rule is that each military leader is able to command 3 to 5 subordinate units. This goes for a carrier battle group or for a company commander with 3 platoons. As we discussed earlier, the Chief of Staff may be in charge of 5 to 10 different staff sections, but when it comes to leadership and operations, the recommended military span of control is 3 to 5. If you control any more than 5 operational elements of your business, it is likely that you will become overwhelmed and incapable of effectively leading the business. Consider reorganizing your staff so that your span of control is 3 to 5. Every military section has a standing operating procedure, or SOP. If you are a tactical unit, then you have a tactical SOP, or TACSOP, which explains how you're alerted, mobilized, deployed, and fight. If you have a staff section, let's say for example the training officer in the S3 operations section, then you will have a training SOP, which outlines who to contact for attending schools and follow-on training, how to request a range, and how to request ammo for that range. Each and every section of an effective unit has an SOP. Nowadays, these SOPs are typed up online and stored in a SharePoint folder on the network. But when I was a young officer, the SOPs were printed in 3-ring binder continuity books, and you were required to read them the day you arrived to the new unit. I am convinced that every civilian organization would be better off if each section had a short continuity book which explained how they function and who are their points of contact. That way people can quickly learn what to expect, and anyone can step up or cover down on responsibilities when a fellow colleague is sick or on vacation. The U.S. military has a very strict format and a regimented process for planning missions. The military decision-making process, or MDMP, is a 7-step process. Step 2, mission analysis, has 18 tasks. I don't want to get into all of these different tasks, but I want to highlight that there is a deliberate planning sequence that all officers and senior NCOs are trained to know and use. Whether you are a Marine Raider, or a SEAL, or a pilot, or a staff officer in Ranger Bat, every proper military unit will use the MDMP as a guideline for planning the future. Private individuals and civilian organizations would benefit from a standardized and deliberate planning process for all important future decisions and initiatives. Military communication is often a matter of life and death. You can't afford to make a communication error. One of the best techniques that the military uses to verify that the message given is the message received is called the back brief. When a headquarters publishes an order, they make their subordinate units back brief what they understand their mission to be, the timeline, the task, and purpose. This technique has so many applications. Imagine you're in a dire situation and your boss says, "Take the hill, whatever the cost." You back brief them. "Roger that, boss. We'll take the hill, whatever the cost." Imagine your boss tells you to do A, then B, skip C, then do D, part 1. Back brief him quickly to put his mind at ease and to show that you understand what the mission is. "Boss, I understand that I need to do A, then B, skip C, and do D, part 1. This ensures effective communication. Tell your kids that after the movie is over, you will meet them at 8:15 p.m. at the far side of the parking lot by the tennis court. Make them back brief you. Okay, Dad, fine. I'll meet you at 8:15 p.m. on the far side of the parking lot by the tennis court." Now you have an effective link-up plan. Although the U.S. military will work you like a dog, it does provide opportunities for technical, educational, and professional development. I call this Continuous Professional Development, or CPD. Enlisted men and women go to basic and advanced leadership schools, the Sergeant Major's Academy, and are even given time off for degree completion. Officers go to the basic and advanced courses for their branch, the Combined Armed Service Staff School, or the Intermediate Learning Objective, ILE, the War College, and have opportunities to go to grad school. Signal officers and specialists get all kinds of Microsoft networking and SharePoint certificates. Imagine how successful you would be if you devoted a quarter or an eighth of your time developing your subordinates to make them better leaders and more competent workers. Let's move on to combined and joint operations. Joint means that you're working with other branches of the military. Combined means that you are working with military forces from another country. No matter how hard you try, you cannot do it alone. The military is becoming more joint and combined every day. Gone are the days when the Army invaded something on their own. Nowadays, Army forces always work with the Air Force, Navy, and the Marines. They always work alongside of military forces from other countries. This leads to synergy and legitimacy. Synergy allows the collective combined and joint effects to be greater than the sum of the individual efforts. The work of a coalition is always more legitimate than a unilateral or bilateral national engagement. The civilian application of this principle is collaboration. When you work with other companies or other offices, you almost always have more success than if you did it all on your own. Think of Supreme partnered with Louis Vuitton to make high-end fashion clothes more reachable to the younger crowd. Think of how easy it is to integrate Instagram into your Facebook, or your YouTube into your Gmail and AdWords. Successful businesses seeking to improve should always look for opportunities to collaborate. One of the virtues of the military is that you learn that it's not about you, it's about the team. The team is more important than the individual. This is why heroes jump on hand grenades and sacrifice themselves for those that they love and they serve with on their left and right. This is why soldiers postpone medical treatment and evacuation to keep fighting the enemy even though they're injured. When something happens to a member of the team, they are missed, but they are replaced. This goes for the rifleman and for the commander. Everyone is replaceable. The team is more important than the individual. Military service inherently creates this team mentality. This is why so many veterans miss the purpose and sense of belonging that they had when they were in the military. Civilian companies should deliberately plan and invest time and money to build their team. A team is always more successful than individuals. Okay, there you have it. 10 principles of military leadership. I want to be the first to admit that this list is not conclusive, but I also need to highlight that these principles of military leadership are tools that you can and should use to be a more effective leader in your family, at your job site, and in your life. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe if you want to keep on learning, and to forward this video to a friend who needs to see this. Life is a special operation. Are you ready for it?